Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? This is what they call the Ron Van Dam Show. It's got my name in the middle of it. So I guess this is what it is. How are you? Good to be with you. Camera on the ceiling. Good to see you. If you've never seen the show before, I have nothing to apologize for. That's pretty cool. It's a good start. What I do on this program is I point out the things that we all experience. Some of these things bother you, some of them bother me. I think we can find some common ground here. I think we all put our pants on the same way, don't we? Over the head? What? That's not the way? Okay. I do this every weekday. I've been doing radio for 30 years now as a radio talk show host, but basically it's a comedy satirical kind of flavor that it has. 30 years of it, I've been doing this on both syndicated radio and podcasting for the last 10 years, of that we have over 2,500 episodes. So if you ever want to binge listen to this program, this will take you all the way up to your death. It'll keep you occupied until then. You can hear me every single weekday with a brand new show on all the major podcast platforms. Let's go through them one by one. I don't even have a list of them anymore. So many of them. There's Pandora, TuneIn Radio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher. What are all those other things? Spotify, Glorify, Shopify, the whole bit. And there's like 20 others. I don't even know what I'm saying. Audible, Not So Audible, Can't Hear You. All different platforms, all kinds of. And then some radio stations across the country. So thank you. It's what I do. Once a week, I come into this cable studio and I do some kind of version of the show, but you can watch me. There's nothing to see here. I guarantee you. This is it. Nothing's going to happen. I don't do any acrobatic acts with chickens or anything like that. I don't do pantomime. Not into it, man. I know it's an art to make it look like you're stuck in a box while you're pulling on a rope and walking upstairs. I'm not into it, so sorry. When I see those people, those pantomime artists, in the village square and in front of malls and stuff, and doing the pantomime thing, I walk away shaking my head because I don't understand it. People are thrilled to watch it. I walk a little faster away from it. I'm sorry, it's just the way that I am. That Blue Man Group thing where they perform for an exorbitant amount of time with blue makeup all over their face, unrolling toilet paper. I think that's one of the mysteries of life. I don't go to it because I don't understand it. I'm a little too sane to pay money to sit in an audience and watch blue people unrolling toilet paper in front of my eyes. So that gives you a little flavor of what this show is about. Let's start from the top as opposed to from the bottom. It is the new year. You could be watching this a few days before New Year's or a few days after or 6 years after. I really don't care. It's not the point. I understand holidays to some extent. New Year's, I totally don't get. I don't understand it. I walk around asking people, do you get New Year's? You understand what that is? And they all say the same thing. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, what we're doing, as I understand it, is we're reliving all the things that happened during the past year, which are usually horrible. We are reliving the terrible moments and the stressful parts of our lives during the past 12 months. Let's relive them, shall we? So you're saying goodbye to 2022. I don't even know what year this is. I think it's 2022. You're saying goodbye to 2022. Oh, get out of here. What a horrible year that was. I'm looking forward to 2023. But unless you're really stupid, you should understand at the end of 2023, you're going to say how horrible 2023 was. So don't. So, just stop this stupidity. As far as I'm concerned, it's all incredibly stupid. What do we do to celebrate the flipping of a calendar page is really all we're doing. What are we doing to celebrate it? We're getting inebriated. We celebrate by drinking alcohol. We tell our children, don't drink. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink too much alcohol. It's bad for you. Horrible things happen. Families struggle with alcoholic children, alcoholic parents. They destroy the family. So let's see. How can we celebrate New Year's Eve? Let's all get drunk. Oh, Ron, we don't get drunk. Okay, fine. Watch the video. That's odd in itself. Everybody I talk to, are you going out for New Year's Eve? No, because the crazy people on the road New Year's Eve. Oh, okay, great. That sounds like a wonderful. So now you have to stay home. Actually, if you're going to drink, it should only be at home. It shouldn't be in a bar with other people. You should keep your assholiness to yourself. That's what you should do. Excuse me for coughing in front of your face. New Year's a very, very strange thing. Very, very strange. I call it holidays for schmucks because it really, all there really is to do is you turn on the television like just before midnight. A lot of people go to CNN because they have the coverage all across the world. They celebrate this damn thing all across the globe. I know. It's what we all have in common. We're all idiots. So, yeah, that's it, man. And so you switch to a television network or something, usually a news network like CNN. I don't think anybody from CNN listens to this show. I don't really care, and I'm sure it's not the case, but holy crap, what are you doing? What are you doing? For the past decade or so, it's been Anderson Cooper, who is a respected journalist. Nice guy, seems rather normal, although his parents were quite established. But he seems like a normal guy. Okay, fine. Anderson Cooper, when he delivers the news, okay, you're good. You're good. Why do you take a guy like that, on purpose ruin his reputation, and pair him up with these terrifically inane idiots to host CNN's dropping of the balls? Previously, it was Kathy Griffin, who is a comedian, never funny, just caustic. I think that's what you want on New Year's Eve, someone who's not funny, thinks they are, but is incredibly insulting and caustic. And pair her up with a respected news journalist like Anderson Cooper and see how much you can make him turn into a complete idiot. Well, that wasn't enough, because Kathy Griffin got in a lot of trouble for her political comments about Trump. So they kicked her out, and then they brought in Andy Cohen. To this day, I don't know what Andy Cohen does. I know he hosts things, but I don't know where he came from and how he got to where he is, because I don't think he does anything. He doesn't sing, he doesn't dance, he's not a comedian, he doesn't act. I don't know what the hell he is. So now they've paired up Andy Cohen, who is a complete unbridled odd person, and they've hooked him up with Anderson Cooper. And I guess the idea of this matchup is Andy Cohen has to act as bizarrely weird as he can and try to make Anderson Cooper giggle. That apparently is the challenge, because all through the broadcast, Anderson Cooper is giggling. And I don't want my newscasters to be giggling personally. It's not the image I'm looking for. It's very hard to watch. It's almost like a horrific traffic accident. You can't look away, but you know you shouldn't be watching this. The ironic part is that they do this in Times Square, which is odd because at midnight, I'm not too sure which balls I'm watched dropping. You know what I'm saying? There's the ball that drops from the building, and then there's Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen. Okay. And make your own joke. Make your own joke out there. People gathering in Times Square is also a very strange thing because they have some music. Maybe they'll have a band or two. You can't hear them if you're there because the acoustics are horrible and everybody's making noise. So people are just standing gathered together in a crowd. You can get the same feeling by going to Disney World and standing in line to get on a ride for 3 hours. Same kind of conditions. You can't turn left, you can't turn right, you're in a crowd. If somebody yells fire or bomb scare, you're all in trouble. So you're all getting trampled to death. It's just an odd experience. And the only reason they're there is to watch a ball drop from a building. In essence, it's a very strange tradition. And that's all I want to say about it. I mean, when the ball drops and it's midnight, they play New York, New York by Frank Sinatra, which has taken the spot of Guy Lombardo's Auld Lang Syne, which really should still be traditionally played, but isn't now anymore, unfortunately, because generations have changed partners. So they play that song, and then everybody kisses each other and jumps up and down, and then you wait 4 hours to somehow get home on a train. It's a very odd thing to do. It's just odd. I did it once, a long time ago, and I'll never do it again. So I know of what I speak. It's not my first rodeo, nor my first ball dropping. And again, make your own joke. I think it's the only holiday where you can turn around, kiss and hug a stranger, and not get arrested. So I guess there's something to it. Anyway. Are you still there? We're about 13 minutes into the show. If you're still with me, then you're really something, man. You're something. I give you a lot of credit. I really do. I say that to my audience on the radio show. I give them credit. I just do. I think it's the right thing to do. I have a conundrum. I happen to be one of those people that loves to tip. I love to show my appreciation for things that I enjoy. You might say, Ron, we've been watching you for 13 minutes. You don't seem to be enjoying much of anything. Oh, no, this is an act. It's an act. It's a dramatic act. I am an actor. I'm doing this to create some type of entertainment value on this particular channel, of which there may not be much of. So what I... So, So, yeah, that's what I do. So, I'm really a loving person. And when I go to a restaurant, if the server is very, very pleasant, makes the experience wonderful, just being very human and charming and nice, and then I like to tip them. And I like to tip them well because I do realize that in the restaurant business, you don't get paid very well. And tips have become very important. But here's my problem with this. A lot of the restaurants, they pool the tips. And I had heard about this. It doesn't seem right, but apparently that's what they do. There's a restaurant that I go to frequently, and the people are very, very nice. And I actually said to the bartender, a lovely young lady, always treats me very well, nice conversation, very efficient. And I said to her, when I tip you, is the money goes to you, right, because I'm tipping you, Or does it go into like a big bowl, and at the end of the night or the day or the shift or something, you all divide it equally? Which is it? And she said, well, it's both. Sometimes, yes, if there aren't a lot of people on, a lot of staff on, the tips might go directly to the server. But when it's busy, when it's supposed to be, we do divide them all up equally. Some restaurants do that all the time. Some restaurants don't do that at all. Some restaurants just do it some of the time. And apparently I'll never know which one is in play when I'm there at that particular time. Well, that bothered me, because I do not want to tip someone who had nothing to do with me. I'm tipping for an individual performance by a person to make my afternoon or evening quite wonderful. That tip's for you. Now, if you want to turn around and tip the person who puts the water on the table, what do they call them? Busboy, busgirl? I think that's a horrible, horrible terminology. I don't know what you call them technically. But if you turn around and you want to tip them out of your tip that I gave you, feel free. That's your money. I gave it to you. But the point is, I gave it to you to do what you want with, because I'm tipping you. I'm not tipping that person over there whom I don't even know, didn't even come over. I don't even know what's going on with that person. They could suck as a server. Why should they get my money? That was not the intent. Obviously, I'm a little pissed about this. I like to tip. I think it's a nice thing to do, but I don't know if it's going to the right place. They've ruined tipping for me, is what they've done. It's probably always been like this. I just never really thought about it until I thought about it. The other thing around, and I tip very well around the holidays because it's, I don't know, it's in the Bible. You're supposed to do it. I think it's page 17, paragraph 3, at the bottom. I also have a wonderful mail carrier. She is a wonderful person. She delivers the mail, and I feel very secure with her delivering the mail. She says hello. She's extremely friendly, and I want to show my appreciation to tip her. But I can't, because apparently I have found out, and I've known this for some time, you cannot tip a federal employee. She is not, she doesn't work for the FBI. She's not with the court system. I don't understand why I can't do this. But you can't. She's a federal employee. She doesn't get paid like a federal employee because she has to have a second job. Almost every letter carrier that I know has to have a second job to make ends meet. So how well can they be paid for all that very difficult job of delivering the mail, sorting, delivering? I mean, it's like, wow, that's a lot of work. I want to tip her. No, Ron, you can't tip her. You cannot give her any cash. She's a federal employee. Oh, stop it. Stop it. So, I'll give her a little gift of some sort, because how does the federal government know? I mean, like, I might know her personally, and I'm just giving her a gift because I know her personally. Like, let's go with that, okay? Yeah, if I knew her personally, I wouldn't give her money. Obviously, that would be stupid. That's prostitution. So, no. But I still don't understand that. I'll tip who I want. Don't tell me who to tip, who not to tip. I guess I can tip who I want, but they can't take my tips. If she's a federal employee, she cannot take my financial tip. And if this is a bartender or a server, a waiter or waitress or whatever, yeah, I can tip them. I can give them the money. They'll take the money, but it may not go to them. And that's a problem that I have. Do you have that problem too? Don't answer. I can't hear you. This is one way. It's not a telephone. I'm not on a Zoom thing. It's a transmission, a broadcast. I'm losing my patience, ladies and gentlemen. I'm losing my patience. I think I talked about this last week. I really don't know anymore. I have no concept of time. I like to watch situation comedies. I like to watch shows that make me feel happy and laugh a little bit. Laughter is such a wonderful feeling. You know when someone tells you something that's really funny? It's not usually a joke. It's just something that you didn't expect, and it's really funny. And your stomach actually hurts from laughing. You start crying with happiness. You can't stop laughing. That line just repeats in your head, and it's funnier every time. And you snort like a pig. Yeah, you know it. Or you're having a drink and it's coming out of your nose or something. Uncontrollable laughter. What a wonderfully happy pain that is. So I tend to, when I go to the movies or watch television, I tend to watch things that just make me laugh, make me happy, make me light, take me away from this world of seriousness where I have to be concerned about everything that happens in the world, even though I've never been to this country before. I have to learn about what's happening there. And I'm sorry to hear it, but I can only take so much. So I want happy things. I want to watch happy things and comedies and things like that. So I'm doing that. I'm watching TV. And I'm watching an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, a very, very funny show. Sometimes I'll watch Friends. And then I'll watch shows that are more current, but they don't make me laugh as much as some of those classics. And then goes to a commercial, and the commercials are so dismal. How did this happen? How did all the commercials all of a sudden become so dismal? Melissa Manchester singing like at a funeral, and you see these dogs that don't have all their limbs, they're disfigured, they haven't eaten like ever, they're emaciated, I mean it's all, I can't even look, I can't even watch. What are you doing? Don't run these commercials. Don't run these commercials during comedy shows. This is like so wrong and so confusingly awful. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. Don't do this to me. If I wanted to donate to your dog foundation, I would have done it. I don't need to have it pounded into my head. Same thing with the March of Dimes. Not that they have television commercials, but they do this to me through the mail. They send me quarters. The March of Dimes will send me coinage in the mail. I thought you're not supposed to do that. And why are they doing that? Why are you sending me money in the mail if you're soliciting me for money? Couldn't you just keep the money that you're sending me and then make a fortune? And I said this to them. I interviewed them on one of my shows a couple of years ago, and I said, "Why do you do that? Why is your marketing thing to send people like $1 in quarters and then ask them for money? Why are you doing that? Are you trying to make people feel guilty? That sounds like manipulation." And they said, "Well, believe it or not, Ron," they called me Ron. Under the circumstances, I didn't think that was going to happen. They said, under circumstances, Ron, when we do that, people send back money like 10-fold, 50-fold. So it works. Yeah, because you're manipulating them. That's why it works. Anyway, so you got the emaciated dog commercials, and I can't stand that. And then for some reason, all of a sudden, there are like 2,000 diseases that I could get. And they spell every one of them individually in these television commercials for these Tremfya, Nurola, tell your doctor about Pomlicious, and they'll cure your psoriasis, your eczema, your heart valve problem, your diabetes. How many things can be wrong with me in the space of one commercial block? It is so freaking depressing. When I was a kid, all the commercials were for Tide laundry detergent and toaster pastries, Wonder Bread. That wasn't depressing. Now everything is depressing diseases that I could possibly get in the middle of a comedy show. Come on. And you wonder why I get upset about things. Again, I don't really. It's all a big act. I think. I'm not even sure anymore. How many illnesses are there? I don't think you can even count them. There's just so many. And you know what? All of us, we have one of them. Yeah, we do. If we don't have that condition, we have that precondition. I guarantee you, if you don't have diabetes, then you have pre-diabetes. Yep. What does that mean, pre-diabetes? Well, it means you don't have it, but you could someday, so you got it. What are you talking about? Stop it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop drilling me with these commercials. Now we're starting to understand things. The other thing that bothers me, I have the GPS thing. I can't, for some reason, before there was GPS, I used to find things just fine. I got to places without any problem. I would look it up on a map first, write down the directions. I'd find it with no trouble. No trouble at all. Now with GPS, all of a sudden I got problems trying to find things because I'm trusting the GPS instead of myself. I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have, but at the same time, like everything else, it's also a curse. Have you noticed that no matter what town you go to, every town has the same street names? It's true. It's true. Every town, whether it be big or small or a city, has a main street, every single one. And that's the only street that makes any sense, because if you're on Main Street, you can pretty much be sure you're in the center of town. Pretty much you can be sure that's the commerce center of whatever town you're in. It's the only street name that makes any sense. However, there are a lot of them that don't. Because in every single town, there is an Elm Street or an Oak Street. Because apparently, when we name streets, we name them after trees. I don't know why. I mean, these are streets, they're not trees. Do we name the trees after streets? No. Look, there's a main tree. We don't do that. But we name our streets after trees first. Main Street, Oak Street, Maple Street. Well, we all got a Maple Street. Every single town has a Washington Street, by the way. Washington apparently was the first president and known for a lot of things, but pretty much known for being a pretty big street. There's a Washington Street everywhere. You'll find some Lincoln Streets thrown in, but Washington's the big one. That's the main street. If it's not Main Street, it's pretty close to it. We all got a Washington Street. At a point, we started running out of street names, and I don't know why, but we did. We got uncreative all of a sudden. So now you got Oak Street, Oak Boulevard, Oak Street Extension. They have one of those in Brockton. They have an Oak Street. Well, we're going to make it a little bit longer. Why don't you just call it Oak Street? Let's call it the Oak Street Extension. What? Call it Oak Avenue, Oak Boulevard. I mean, stop it. Just, oh, God. We've, you know why? Because we're so populated, we have actually run out of names for things. We've run out. We've used them all. Now we're using the same name for different definitions. For example, I know a woman who plays the organ, and she was teaching her son how to play the organ. And that sounded wrong to me. Now, the organ is also a part of the body. We have organs in our body, but not the type with keyboards. One organ has nothing to do with the other organ, but we call them both organs. So when a guy says, I'm going to go in my room and play the organ, I don't know what he's going to do. And that's confusing. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's the end of the show, because that's quite enough for now. Have yourselves a wonderful day. See you next week. Wish you peace.